How am I looking? All right, good. Oh man, I would say it's been a roller coaster ride, but it's actually been kind of a downtrodden day, filled with a lot of optimism, if that makes any sense. Um, I spent most of the day in bed, just about all of it lounging around the house today, without pants. Now I've got pajama bottoms on. I can't really tell, but today is my second day without taking benzodiazepines. I'm hoping I can make it another 52 minutes because that will mean that I've been 48 hours without any benzos, which has been the longest that I've been in quite a while. Um, it probably in at least, shoot, I don't remember, at least 6 months. I have a journal that I'm keeping track of everything, days, but I've been just dosing myself up with cannabis oil, CBD oil, high concentrate, um, low THC, mostly all CBD, um, tincture, and well, that makes me kind of a little bit brain dead. I know that being in front of a monitor, whether it be phone, computer, or television, doesn't contribute much to my well-being as far as my seizures go and my frame of mind. I should be doing the downward dog with the breathing with my butt sticking up in the air. I don't know, probably. Anyways, I wanted to journal this because it's kind of a momentous occasion. Just journaling my experience with the oligodendroglioma brain tumor that I have and the symptoms of it, which the main symptom obviously is my epilepsy. And that's why I use the benzodiazepines, aka Ativan, chained right next to it in case of an emergency, and clonazepam, aka Clonopin, um, to ensure that I don't slip into it. And what these drugs are, they're not anti-epileptic drugs. The benzos are anti-anxiety. So when I start to go into a seizure, what they do is they slow the brain waves down by releasing GABA or GABA in the brain, which basically dumbs you down in much the same way that alcohol or other opioids or downers would do. And I'm sure people that are watching this that are experiencing similar symptoms or that are epileptic or have some experience with this understand, but just and I've talked about this in the past. But anyways, going through all of this shit has made me advocate strongly for the National Brain Tumor Society, and on Facebook and other social media outposts. I've been uh, reiterating and uh, pushing the link for my team, aka Team Brew Public, for the walk. Uh, Before the walk, they were doing a fundraiser, and I get real competitive about it. Um, I want to achieve as much as I can. I set a goal high for $15,000 this year. Actually, at this point last year, I had our team had raised over $5,000 on our way to about 12K. So it's been harder. I know a lot of people stepped up last year because they want to help, obviously. And when you come back asking for help again a second year, um, my pessimistic super ego is thinking, well, isn't he dead by now? Or we were the pragmatic approach probably that people they gave before, and there's a lot of things out there to give to. So you know them giving one time is wonderful. I mean, that goes to this not-for-profit organization that means so much. I'm participating, in other news, I'm participating this weekend in an epilepsy walk for the um, Epilepsy Foundation Northwest. That's this Saturday, the 18th. I found out about it on my neurologist appointment. And I want to tell you that I'm also under the advisement of my neurologist at Providence Northwest here in Portland, Oregon, that I am going to begin trying out a different anti-epileptic medication. Right now, I'm on 3,000 milligrams a day of extended release Keppra, aka levetiracetam, which is the actual name of the drug. Keppra is the brand name, and I'm also currently on 2,400 milligrams a day of oxcarbazepine, which is the brand name of that's Triliptal. I've been through an assortment of cocktails, titrations, what have you, of these medications, trying to figure out the one that's best for me. But through my journal will indicate I've been quite dependent on the benzos, which are not anti-epileptic medications. They're kind of safe fail, last minute measures to stop the bleeding or plug the hole, spring in a leak. And right now I can feel the effects of the cannabis oil. I'm also keeping it here. These are just 20 milligram capsules of 29% CBD to about 1.5 or less percent THC cannabinoids. So it's really like the high cannabinoid, which is the THC, is not really present in these. It's mostly for the seizure, the convulsory taming effects, pain relief, and other things. I'm keeping it in a flaxseed oil bottle from before. Anyways, as you notice in a lot of my videos, I digress from my point that I start with, because that's kind of how my brain's laid out, and I don't write things down often, so I don't hit things up in bulleted points. I kind of, my bulleted points like here, there, and like, oh wait, back there. And I guess in current news right now, there's a lot going on with another mass shooting. There's a lot on my mind with the political climate, the primary elections going on. American politics are just like crazy. And I won't get into my own personal views on any of that. You probably know, if you know me, what's going on. And I can feel the onset of a seizure right now. I got my trusty pillow, CBD oil, which I'm going to grab real quick. Smells like fish in here because I've got some halibut. And the label's not showing very well, but I have this really strong vegetable glycerin infused CBD oil from CBD Apothecary. And my past experience is this heavy dosing of CBD is also just like a plugging a hole. My experience with my seizures is that I can just sit through them and wait them out, and they'll pass. Sometimes they get others more intense, some more intense than others. What tends to happen is they build and build, and to a point of these really powerful seizures that demand some immediate action be taken, or the fright and anxiety that a clonic tonic clonic tonic seizure might occur, which is, in layman's terms, most people understand as a grand mal seizure, which translates to grand, great, mal, bad. So great bad seizure, and nobody wants that. I think most people understand what a grand mal is, but they call it now referred to in a more politically correct climate. I don't want to use that term anymore because that's been used in the political realm, but I think we understand what I'm intending here when I say politically correct. More sensitive, and we've gone through different terms. George Carlin touches upon this, but they're called, in the professional world, they're called clonic tonic, because clonic is a state of when you're convulsing, when the seizure first hits, and then tonic is when you start to jerk about, seize about, and then you freeze up. So anyways, my brain is really clouded right now, but I wanted to talk about this while it's fresh on my not so fresh mind. Today has been one of those days where I didn't do anything. Wednesdays, typically, I don't have anything on the agenda. And for being someone that stays at home with disability, and that's very frustrating for me because I really want to work. I've never been on disability or any sort of assistance in my life up until my diagnosis. In fact, I was working a lot at the time that I had my first series of grand mal seizures, and just knocked me out of the game. I had a biopsy, as I've mentioned in the past, in my brain to determine what my brain tumor is all about. The grade 2 oligodendroglioma. But anyways, Wednesdays are my day to, I'm surprised I was able to wrangle that thought back. Wednesdays are my day to just kind of not do as much, but I like to stay active. I like to walk. I had to concede today to not get my 10,000 steps in as tracked by my Fitbit, which equates to almost 5 miles a day. I try to get about 5 miles a day of walking in. So tomorrow I've got a few appointments that I hope I can make. I meet with my therapist tomorrow to talk about some of the, I don't know I guess I might call it post-traumatic symptoms of dealing with a terminal condition. I don't want to call it terminal, but it's a scary, life-altering condition that I'm hoping will find some resolve to in the medical world. And right now, as it stands, there isn't any major cures for it, but there are some small breakthroughs that are big. Actually, I wouldn't say they're small, because any breakthrough is huge, and that's why I'm behind the National Brain Tumor Society. I really, for somewhat selfish reasons, but even if it doesn't pan out for me, I'd like to see this continue to move forward. There's people who have fallen to brain tumors, epilepsy in the past, and through their efforts, we've been able to make it to where we are today, which hopefully will continue to pave the road to where we can be in the future. And that is true of all types of cancer efforts and funding and research. There has been breakthroughs and cures and progress, and I feel good about that, and I feel like I need to do my part, as I do in many aspects of life, but that's one that I feel strongly about. If I only had $1 million or a couple $1 million, there's always more you can do. Do some philanthropic means. I could give more, but if I hadn't been diagnosed with his conditions, then who knows? I maybe would just continue living my life as a beer advocate or beer evangelist or whatever you call it, just pushing the word of good beer. And I still want to do that. I still passionately care about the craft beer community, but when your life's put on a change of course that is a matter literally of life and death and quality of life and um, I guess more importantly and more directly and immediately, that's what your focus can be directed to. Some people just take the meds their doctor gives them and goes through the motions. I try to learn as much as I can about what I'm dealing with, educate myself more than the doctors that are working with, because as I've come to understand and learn from my own experience, I am the number one advocate for myself. There's people that I lean on and reach to for advice, like doctors, therapists, and the like, but they are stretched thin, as many services are, because there's a lot of people in need. So I have to work diligently for myself and also advocate for others. So it forces you to be a little bit selfish, to push for your own needs and the needs of those like you. But there's only so many hours in a day, and there's only so much effort to put forth for so many things. In my world, it's some political efforts, some social justice efforts, some environmental efforts. It all kind of wraps up into one giant world that is very complex and multifaceted. But anyways, tomorrow, let's get back on track. Tomorrow, Thursday, I'm also going to a monthly. This is important to me to try to make because it's only once a month. Providence has a brain cancer. Brain tumor group, which I guess would fall in the brain cancer, but more specifically, a brain tumor group. And I have a special guest. We have a special guest speaker tomorrow, which is the oncologist that I've been talking to and consulting with. I haven't worked with him yet at Providence, Dr. Lufkin, who's a good man from my, I don't want to say good and bad, but he's a caring person, and just like all the people that I choose to see, I continue to seek out the best possible advocators, whatever the word is, people that I subscribe to for my energies to help me out. And he's going to be speaking tomorrow as our guest in the group. It's an hour and a half group, and I'm excited. Not excited. I'm trying to get excited. That's why I'm on some of these meds to stay not too excited. But again, I digress. Those two meetings tomorrow that are very important to me, and that's a couple things that mean a lot to me. Anyhow, I'm going on about to hit my 20-minute mark. I try to keep these under 20 minutes. If you have any comments or suggestions or anything along those lines, feel free to reach out. I'm probably going to post this on the stateofeuphorbia.com website, which is my blog. Also, this is going to be posted to my YouTube channel, and with that, it'll be posted all over my social media. Angelooregon.com, ANGELOR. It's not .com, I'm sorry. It's twitter.com/ANGELOREGON. Angel Oregon, like Angelo and Oregon, all with just one O. And then if you go on there, you can get more of a sense of sort of my political view and all that. But pushing all that aside, my real focus on doing this is to advocate for people who are experiencing similar, and given my take on living with an oligodendroglioma brain tumor. and epilepsy, and hoping that it can serve as some help to people. I'm not trying to convert anyone to my political beliefs, but I try to hopefully live through by example to draw people into my thinking and let critical thinking be the work for itself, and the rest kind of sorts itself out. If that makes any sense, hopefully it does. Anyhow, I'm gonna wrap it up right there. But you can also have another Twitter feed. Just wanted to let you know it's State O Euphorbia at the end, so it's twitter.com/State O Euphorbia. I try to stay all over social media, but I need to cut down on my screen time in every capacity: television, computer, phone. Anyhow, this is Angelo, and I want to thank you for hearing me out. And if you'd like to contribute to the National Brain Tumor Society, find me in the Portland group, Team Brew Public. I'll try to put some links up here for that, so you can just click on the Google short link to take you right to it. If not, thanks for listening, and hopefully this was of some use or interest to you. All right, as usual, peace. Have a great day.